Java supports recursion. Hello. Is it visible to you all? So we
Sir.
come across methods.
Sir.
So we passed some parameters to the method. Not only just simple data types, even we passed some objects to a method, and we come across method overloading. A method will have a same two three methods will have the same name, but different arguments, different return types, and also we come across constructors, how to construct a new object, and next uh, constructor overloading also we come across, creating default constructor, creating parameterized constructor, and also creating a constructor which will accept object as a parameter. So all these examples we come across, and these are the very important thing. And please be clear in overloading first. A method overloading is a method where the same method name will be there for two or three methods. Two or three methods will have the same name but different arguments. First method may takes two integers, the second method may takes three float values, the third method may takes five characters and so on. But method name should be the same. So in that scenario, what happens? That particular method will be overloaded. Means the compiler which whenever you invoke appropriate method, we call appropriate method. The constructor will choose what exactly the method is with the same name. Why? Because all are having the same name, and based on the different values, different arguments, the compiler will choose appropriate method. Why? Because all methods are overloaded. Overloaded in the sense more work with the same method, same function you can call. Later we can have one more word, override. మళ్ళీ అప్పుడు చెప్పుకుందాం override గురించి. Now overload in the sense a method will have a same name, function will have a same name, but behaves in a different manner. Having different parameters will accept. Sometimes different return types will be there for that particular method. I come across with some examples of all those. You please recall those. And next one is the recursion. Can you give the definition of what is the recursion? Function, recursive functions అని చదివింటారు కదా. Can anyone? My voice is clear or
Calling a
not?
function.
Yeah,
A function called by itself, sir.
that call itself, a function that call itself. Any function or any method which is calling by itself. Actually, one function call another function. Main is calling display function, main is calling addition function, like that. But a function which is going to be called by itself, such things we can call as recursives. It's a very important. Already we come across in first year onwards. The recursive functions are the functions which call by itself. We'll see a simple example, finding a factorial of a number, right? So here inside main method, the class name is recursion by default. I took a simple name recursion and define a main method. Inside main method, I define one object for f. Factorial is another class. Please remember, this is another class up to here. Here I define two classes. One is for main method, another is for finding factorial. Right? Inside main method, I constructed one object for factorial class. The factorial is class of another. So here I define a class with the name of factorial. Inside I define only one method with the name of fact. So this factorial will have only one method, will return one integer value. అది ఏం పంపిస్తుంది మనకి, ఒక ఇంటీజర్ వాల్యూని ఇస్తుంది మనకి. సో హియర్ ఐ కన్స్ట్రక్టెడ్ వన్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఫర్ ఎఫ్. ఎలా కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేస్తాము ఆబ్జెక్ట్ని? బై యూజింగ్ న్యూ ఆపరేటర్ and mention the class name. I'm not passing anything to this particular class. ఏం పంపడం లేదు చూడండి ఇక్కడ. So that's why what happened? The system will invoke a default constructor if you mention anything here. ఇక్కడ ఏమైనా కన్స్ట్రక్టర్స్ రాస్తే డిఫాల్ట్ కన్స్ట్రక్టర్ కాల్ అవుతుంది. ఏవి రాయకుంటే ఆటోమేటిక్ కన్స్ట్రక్టర్స్ కాల్ అవుతాయి. సో ఆన్ క్రియేటింగ్ ఎ న్యూ ఇన్స్టెన్స్ ఫర్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఎఫ్ అనే ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ని కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేస్తున్నామంటే, say for example you are supposed to create one object f means what? You are calling automatic constructors. The constructors will construct memory for f. Now f is available in the memory. F will have, what are there inside f? F will have only one method. That method name is fact. Say for example దీంట్లో ఏమి లేవు, ఒకటి మెథడ్ ఉంది, fact అని ఉంది అంతే. This object will have fact method. So here I am just invoking fact f dot f. See here, f dot fact 3. So what happened here? So f dot, I am passing 3 to the method. So it takes one parameter n. So I am passing 3 here. Now n becomes 3. In this case, n becomes 3. So what happened here? It comes over here. Now n value is 3. Right? So I am returning a result here. So this I am going to be define one simple variable inside function fact result, and whenever n is equal to 1 I return 1. If it is not the case, I can invoke the same method again by decreasing one value n minus 1 and return back to the n. I mean back to the function again. So first n is 3, second n is 2, the third n is 1. So what happened? Whenever n is 1, it returns 1. So 1 is going to be added here. And in the previous call is pending, that is 2. The 2 is going to be written by multiplying to the n value, 2 into 1. Now that value is assigned to result, and the one more is pending, 3. 3 into the result and so on. So it comes like this. First case 1 into, what is the n value here? 3. Next previous case now becomes 2 into 1 into 3, like this. So finally we'll get the values. Now 1 second. Okay, so like that for 3 we are finding 1 into 2 into 3 and 4, 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 and so on. We'll get the value approximately on the screen, right? You please go through this again. So next is, yesterday I gave a simple example. We need to find how many chocolates based on that. So already some of your friends submitted your assignments in the form of a simple loops and all. But some students they mention some loops. Why they are mentioned for 3 times or 4 times basically. But whenever you are framing an answer, that answer should fit for each and every constraint. So the first constraint here it is all the values should be integers and more than one. Don't take the negative values, it should be more than one. Put one simple condition and so on. We need to proceed. And how to find, say for example, this is the money what the person having and actual cost is 2 rupees, say for example. How many chocolates you may get for this? So 16 by 2, yes or no? So first we need to find how many chocolates we'll get. So that is 8. So 8 in the sense, obviously we may have 8 wrappers. But on returning 2 wrappers, the shopkeeper they return 1 chocolate. That is the constraint here. So 8 wrappers after eating all chocolates, 8 wrappers will be there in that particular student hand. So on returning 8 to shopkeeper, so 8 by 2 again. So ఎన్నో సేపడు మనకి will get 4 wrappers,
For sure.
right? 4 wrappers. So 4 becomes 4 chocolates becomes added to this 8 plus 4 again. Again we will get 4 wrappers and 4 by 2 2 chocolates added to this total count and 2 wrappers and so on. 1 second. Hello. Ah.
Sir, please unmute yourself.
Amma is okay, clear? So the first constraint is whatever so here instead of accepting from the user, I just assigned some static values here. You may add to the scanner class and just read the values, what is the cost and what is the price available the particular student, and how many wrappers on return the student has, the shopkeeper will give you a chocolate. You mention you read all these values from the user. I make it as a static values here, right? So if this is the first constraint, whether the values whatever we entered is more than one, right? So if it is not, say for example, I mentioned minus 16 or minus 2 or something, I don't want to do this application, right? So that's the first criteria. So whenever you are framing one application or one program, please be clear in the constraints. Why? Because they provide more and more number of inputs. They definitely they pass the negative values. We should not entertain the negative values based on the constraints given by the application. Next is whatever the money, and first we need to find total chocolates, one variable. money by price, we'll get appropriate information, chocolates. And for that particular total chocolates, we need to take recursively what exactly the wrappers are handovering back to the shopkeeper and how many chocolates they are getting, and aiding again sending back wrappers back to the shopkeeper and getting chocolate. It is goes for continuously. We should not fix for 3 times or 4 times like that. How many times the user, I mean the student will have the chocolates, he ate and hand over back to the shopkeeper and take appropriate chocolates back, and restore wrappers will be keep with him only and go for continuously. So we need to mention appropriate condition that always the chocolate should be more than lesser than wrappers. So whatever the wrapper, what you are saying, two wrappers, if the student have chocolates which is lesser than wrapper count, so at that time we simply come out of the application. If it is more, so hand over back and get the chocolates. It is continuous process. So don't put a simple loop or simple condition stating that for 3 times or 4 times like that. It always depends on the chocolates, how he is having the wrapper count, how shopkeeper is expecting. Based on that, we need to put a condition. If it is, you return a value as 0. If it is not, you come over here and find how many new chocolates are getting from the shopkeeper by handovering the chocolates, I mean wrappers, and what is the wrapper count. And you are, what you can say, calling the same function again and again continuously by adding to the existing new chocolates count, by passing the new chocolates count along with wrapper counts. So here we need to maintain this wrapper. Why? Because these wrappers are needed for the further next round or next chocolates. For example, in the first iteration, the student say for example 7 wrappers there, so 2 wrappers needed for chocolate. So 7 by 2 means 6 will be handover. 7 by 2 in the sense 3 will be 3 chocolates will be gained and 1 wrapper will be left over. Next iteration, these wrapper will be added to the existing count. So you make this information in such a way that we need to maintain the restore wrappers along with him. And the wrapper count is 2, whatever the value you are supposed to maintain given by the shopkeeper. It goes continuously and assigning to the new values, and finally once it returns to 0, that is going to be added to the return count and return the value. Okay, Namma. So instead of putting loops, better use a recursive method here, right? Any doubt in this? If you are have an idea on this, nothing more in this. Only thing is we need to find how many new chocolates are coming for that particular student and any wrapper is left over. So leftover wrappers are going to be found by means of a modulus and getting a chocolate by means of a division operator. Any doubt in this? Any doubt? మన వాయిస్ వినపడుతుందా? ఎవరు పలుకుతలేరు? హలో హలో
Yes, sir.
అమ్మా ఎవరు పలకడం లేదు. ఓన్లీ 60 members జాయిన్. ఇట్స్ అ వెరీ what happened to the remaining students? Are they writing any supply examinations? అమ్మా ఎవరు మాట్లాడడం లేదు మీరు. అమ్మా వినపడుతున్నాయా? స్క్రీన్ కనపడుతుందా?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ఇక్కడ ఏమైనా డౌట్ ఉందా ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో?
No, sir.
It's a very simple logic. How you are going to be find? Hello. హలో అవునమ్మా, వచ్చిన ప్రతి చాక్లెట్కి మళ్ళీ కొత్త కౌంట్ యాడ్ చేయాలి కాబట్టి ఐ మేక్ ఇట్ యాజ్ అ ప్లస్. ఇట్ టేక్స్ ద వాల్యూ అండ్ కమ్ ఓవర్ హియర్. ఇట్ గోస్ కంటిన్యూస్లీ. Recursively it invokes with the new values. Whenever it becomes this condition satisfied, it returns the zero value. Last onwards, last iteration will come to the first, and so on. It fires back by means of a stack. And all are going to be accumulated to this a single variable new chocolates that is going to be written finally. ఇది రికర్సివ్ మెథడ్ అమ్మ. మీకు ఏమైనా డౌట్ ఉందంటే మళ్ళీ డిస్కస్ చేద్దాం రికర్షన్ ఎలా జరుగుతుంది అనేది. బట్ మై పాయింట్ హియర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ దిస్ ఈజ్ ఎ స్టాటిక్ మెథడ్ and main also one static method here. Please remember, this is a static method, static in the function name. Here the static method, static in main method. You can make this one as a public. All are the same. But the second one is the main method. The first one is a user defined method, count REC అనేది. These two are the static methods. అమ్మ మీరు సౌండ్ వాల్యూమ్ మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి. సో ద స్టాటిక్ మెథడ్స్ ఆర్ invoked directly without any instances. In the beginning I said, right? So how I am going to be call the method? I am calling the method directly without any object. Just like main method, this is a static method. I can call the main method count REC without any instance, without any object. Please try to know. This is a static method. These static methods are the methods which we can invoke directly with the method name. మళ్ళీ we can do more and more applications. We can write more and more static methods in the class. Sometimes we can invoke these static methods by the class name. అది కూడా మళ్ళీ చెప్తాను తర్వాత. But here we are in the single class, we are having two static methods. One static method can invoke other static method directly with the name. This is a new for us. But how the static is recursive is going on, it is a simple notation which we come across in the first year onwards. Recursions are done automatically by calling itself with the new values and so on, go on continuously. But the new thing here it is a static method which we invoke directly from the another static method with the name itself. No need of any object, no need of any reference name. Any doubt in this? ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ని స్క్రీన్ షాట్ తీసుకొని ట్రై టు రన్ or else I'll show you. Nothing will give you, will get the same value. Okay. Yes. Okay, ma. There's the information. I'll wait a second. And we have some more examples based on recursions. You please do some more applications. I'll forward the same by means of recursions. And once you are having a sufficient knowledge on that, then it's good. And whenever the situation permits to do certain things recursively, repeatedly, better use recursions. And go through this simple information. If you have any doubt in recursions, we will discuss again how recursion iterations are takes place. Better you speak to Vinod Reddy sir. Sir will explain again the same recursions, right? And come back to access controls. So whenever you are defining a variable or whenever you are writing any method or sometimes whenever you are defining a class, those will have certain control, access control where it is, how you are going to be accessed, whether you are able to access that particular method or a variable or not. Such things will be defined by means of access controls. Usually we are having public, private, protected, and another one is the default access level. If you are not supposed to mention these three, public, private, protected, that comes under default access. Java will have a rich set of access modifier, access specifiers like public, private, protected, and if you are unable to mention, that comes under default. So protected we will discuss at the time of inheritance, very next class. So these are protected information are apply at the time of inheritance. What exactly the inheritance, and we will discuss later. And coming to public, public are the specifiers that can be accessed by anyone outside of the code, outside of the class. Just like you are writing public static void main, that main is going to be called outside of the class by the Java compilers. If you make the same as a private, the system will give you a warning message. See here, I make this one as a private. Okay, nama private and JSON main method ni save the code and run the code. Compile the code and run the code. So it shows one message stating that main method not found in class, whatever the class name you are representing. Okay, nama. So once you define a method as a private, the private information will not be accessed outside of the class. Okay, now you'll get a message like this: main method not available, like that. So which is beyond. It is unable to access. Why? Because some things, if you are defining as a public, that things will be able to access outside of the class. And whenever you make anything as a private, the private information will be totally hidden by the outer side world, which is totally invisible to the outside of the class. Only which are there inside the class can access the private information. Please remember, if you make any variable as a private, that variable visible within the scope, within the class scope only. Once you are outside of the class, that is invisible. We can't access the private information. Right? So next one is the default. So something you are not represent explicitly what exactly the scope of that particular variable or method. That comes under default. So default acts as a public within its own package. గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండమ్మా, అందులో ఉండే ప్యాకేజ్లో మాత్రం అది పబ్లిక్లా కనబడుతుంది. అవుట్ సైడ్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్యాకేజ్ దట్ యాక్ట్స్ యాజ్ ఏ ప్రైవేట్. We can't access, we can't get that information which is outside of the package. Don't confuse what is a package. Package is nothing but a folder. Think that I am having my own folder, say for example Mahesh, so I can maintain all my files inside my folder. So all related my files will be there inside my Mahesh folder. Think that one more student will have one more folder, say for example, and number is saved as 502 some number, and related information will be available in that particular folder. 502 is unable to access my information, and myself I am unable to access another information. Why? Because this is a separate package, this is a separate package. So whatever the relevant information you are supposed to maintain as a separate, that comes under package. We are having a separate discussion on package, we will discuss at the time. So don't confuse. If you define any variable or anything inside a package as a default, that is visible within the package, within all the applications of the package. Not a single program, not a single class. All the classes which are there inside that particular folder can access that particular default thing. But outside of that particular package is not possible. Any doubt in this? Any doubt?
Sir.
We come across public, anyone can access outside of the class, outside of the package, anyone. But coming to private, private is visible within the class only, class members only. Next, protected, protected will be visible within the hierarchy of inherent classes. అది మళ్ళీ చెప్పుకుందాం, నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్లో చెప్పుకుందాం. నెక్స్ట్ ఈజ్ డిఫాల్ట్, ద ఫోర్త్ వన్ ఈజ్ ద డిఫాల్ట్. డిఫాల్ట్ విల్ బి యాక్ట్ యాజ్ ఆర్ విజిబుల్ ఆర్ యాక్ట్ యాజ్ అ పబ్లిక్ విత్ ఇన్ ద ప్యాకేజ్. ఏ ప్యాకేజ్లో డిఫైన్ చేసింటావో ఆ ప్యాకేజ్లో అది పబ్లిక్ లాగా విజిబుల్లో ఉంటుంది. ఆ ప్యాకేజ్ దాటితే అది కనపడదు. ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు యాక్సెస్ outside of the package, right? This is all about access controls. See a simple example here. I define one as default access int a. Ma kanpadutunda screen. Is it visible to you or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Note on the program and try to execute. I define without mention anything before int. Now it becomes the default. For B, I mention public. For C, I mention private. ఓకేనమ్మా, ఇక్కడ 3 యాక్సెస్ని డిఫైన్ చేసినాను. ఒకటి డిఫాల్ట్లో ఉంది, ఒకటి పబ్లిక్లో, ఒకటి ప్రైవేట్లో ఉంది. ప్రొటెక్టెడ్ ఇప్పుడు రాయనమ్మా. ప్రొటెక్టెడ్ ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ చెప్పినప్పుడు మాత్రమే రాస్తాను. రిలేషన్ ఉంటేనే ప్రొటెక్టెడ్ వర్క్ అవుతుంది. నెక్స్ట్ ఒక మెథడ్ని డిఫైన్ చేసినాను, సెట్ సి అని. ఇక్కడ ఏం చేసినాను, సెట్ సి అనే మెథడ్ ఒక దాన్ని సికి అసైన్ చేస్తుంది. అది సి అనేది ఏమి ఇక్కడ ప్రైవేట్ వేరియబుల్. అది ఇంకోటి గెట్ సి అని ఒక మెథడ్ రాస్తున్నాను. అది ఏం రిటర్న్ చేస్తుంది, సిని రిటర్న్ చేస్తుంది. సి అనేది ఏది ప్రైవేట్ వేరియబుల్. సో ఐఎమ్ వర్కింగ్ ఆన్ ప్రైవేట్ హియర్ డైరెక్ట్లీ. అండ్ సి దిస్ ఇస్ వన్ క్లాస్, ద క్లాస్ నేమ్ ఈజ్ టెస్ట్, and another class with the name of access test. Inside this I define main method. Inside main method I define one object with the name of OB, constructed OB by means of new of type test. Now object is created. Now object OB will have ఏమేమి ఉంటాయి OBలో. There is a one object which is physically existing in the memory. So there we can have one variable in the default, another one variable in public, and C variable in private mode. ఇంకేమున్నాయి దీంట్లో, ఒక మెథడ్ సెట్ సి అనే ఒకటి రాసినాను. ఇంకో మెథడ్ ఏముంది, గెట్ సి అనే ఒక మెథడ్ రాసినాను. గెట్ సి, సెట్ సి. సో హ్యావింగ్ ఇట్స్ ఓన్ డెఫినేషన్, having its own definition. So 3 variables there inside object OB and 2 methods there inside object OB. సో ఇక్కడ ఏం చేసినాను, OB డాట్ ఏ ఈక్వల్ టు 10 అన్నాను. సో ఏకి ఏమి ఇచ్చినాను ఇక్కడ, ఐ అసైన్ వాల్యూ 10. నెక్స్ట్ OB డాట్ బి అన్నాను. సో OB డాట్ ఏ ఈక్వల్ టు 10 అన్నప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, ఇట్ ఈస్ అ వ్యాలిడ్ స్టేట్మెంట్, ఇట్ వర్క్స్ ఫైన్, ఇట్ నెవర్ గివ్ యూ ఎనీ ఎర్రర్. వై, బికాస్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇన్ default access and it is there in the current package. Now it acts as a public. Next OB dot b 20 అన్నాను. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, now b becomes 20. It is also valid statement. Why, because it is in public mode, public లో ఉంది కాబట్టి. నెక్స్ట్ OB dot c equal to 100 అన్నాను. సో c అనేది ఏమది, ఇట్స్ a private information. We can't access private information by means of object directly. It gives an error message. Even you try for this, the system will give you one error message. We can't access directly from outside of the class. ఈ క్లాస్ యొక్క బయట నుంచి మనం సి వేరియబుల్ని యాక్సెస్ చేయలేము. వై, బికాజ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ టోటలీ హిడెన్ ఫ్రమ్ ద అవుటర్ వరల్డ్. దట్ ఈస్ ద డేటా హైడింగ్ మెకానిజం. ఇట్ ఈస్ అ ప్రైవేట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. వీ కాంట్ యాక్సెస్ అవుట్ సైడ్ ఆఫ్ ద క్లాస్. సో దాన్ని ఏం చేసినాను ఇక్కడ, ఐ కెన్ డూ వన్ మెథడ్ బై మీన్స్ ఆఫ్ సెట్ సితో కాల్ చేసినాను. Now set C and I am passing 100. Now set C will take the value 100. తీసుకొని ఎవరికి ఇస్తుంది, అది ఐకి ఇస్తుంది. Now I is maintaining 100 and I is assigned to C. Now C becomes 100. This is the way how we can access private information. So if you want to access the private information, that should be done with public methods only. So here set C is a one method which is defined as a private access. see here, and I can assign a value 100 to that set C method. Now I is having the value 100 and I is assigned to C, that is the local variable, local private variable C. Now it is valid one. If you want to get a value, so I can get a value ob.a, it is a valid statement. ob.b directly we can access outside of the class. And coming to C, C is a private information, I can't get it directly. So I can get the value by means of a public method get C. Now get C is a method which will return a private information C. Now C is going to be appear here. So this is the way we can work with different variables of different access specifiers. Any doubt in this? One is a default. Default will act as a public within the class, within the package. Public is also a public. Anyone can access directly within the class or within the package or even outside of the class, outside of the package. But whenever you define anything as a private information is totally hidden from the outer world. Even outside of the class also it is not possible. So whenever you want work with the private information, we need to create public member functions or default member functions and make use of the private information. This simple example will give you how to access a private data, how to access a public data, and how to access a default data. Any doubt in this? But please run this
No,
application
sir.
and you just ignore this comment and see whether the system gives an error message or not on using ob.c and followed by 100. ఇక్కడ ఈ కామెంట్ తీసేసి రన్ చేయండి అమ్మా, you will get an error message. I make this one as a comment. Any doubt in this?
No, sir.
Clear? మరి చాలా తక్కువ మంది జాయిన్ అయినారు, మరి ఏమైందో రీజన్ తెలుస్తలేదు. So I'll forward the same example to you. You please go through a simple stack application here. ఇది మీకు స్టాక్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పినప్పుడు చెప్తానమ్మా ఇది. If you are have a good idea on how stack will work this. Any doubt in this overloading, function overloading or method overloading, constructor overloading, recursion and access modifiers? If you all are okay, then I'll move to the next topic. Any doubt in this? So the next topic is inheritance. This is second topic, second unit. So what is an inheritance? How you are going to be inherit one property to another property or one other class? How you are make use of together by creating a new instances, and also how you are going to be pass parameters to the parent class parent class methods or parent class constructors, and method overriding and dynamic method dispatch, and all these things we will discuss in this particular topic. The first thing is what do you mean by an inheritance? Any general definition for inheritance? Anyone? Don't read all these things. You give your own definition. Heredity అనే వర్డ్ ఎప్పుడన్నా విన్నారమ్మా?
Yes, sir.
ఏం చేస్తారు హెరిడిటీ అంటే ఏం చెప్పండి?
Passing some features or activities to the another generation.
Yeah, one generation features are coming to the next generations. Usually some diseases are coming like diabetics or some other general, some diseases will hereditarily coming from parent to child. Yes or no? ఎప్పుడన్నా
Yes,
విన్నారమ్మా?
sir.
కొంతమంది చెప్తుంటారు చిన్నపిల్లల్ని పడుకొని వాళ్ళ తాత పోలికలు ఉన్నాయి ఇట్లా చెప్తూ ఉంటారు. ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? సో those are the properties are inheriting from parent or grandparent to the child. Such things you can call as inheritance. Acquiring the properties from parent to child, such things you can call as inheritance. So sometimes may be good, sometimes may be bad in general terms. So usually the parent, what are those having some diseases and all acquiring to the childs. That is some bad issues. Sometimes the parent will have some properties like one house or fields and all. The same will be inherited to their childs. Child no need to go for buying the house again. Why? Because already parent having, they can acquire the same. Yes or no? పేరెంట్కి ఇల్లు ఉందనుకోండి, చైల్డ్ మళ్ళీ ఇల్లు కొనుక్కుంటే అది 2 ఇండ్లు అవుతాయి అప్పుడు పేరెంట్కి. అంతేగాని అదే ఇల్లు మళ్ళీ కొనుక్కోడు కదా పేరెంట్ దగ్గర. ఒక 10 acres ల్యాండ్ ఉందనుకోండి, ఆ 10 acres ల్యాండ్ ఏమవుతుంది, బై డిఫాల్ట్ పేరెంట్ చైల్డ్కి వచ్చేస్తుంది అది. బట్ డోంట్ కంపేర్ వాట్ కెన్ సే కొడుకులు కూతుర్లు ఇవన్నీ పక్క పెట్టేసేయండి. జస్ట్ ఇమాజిన్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ద పేరెంట్ విల్ హ్యావ్, ఆటోమేటిక్లీ ద థింగ్స్ విల్ కమ్ టు ద చైల్డ్. నో నీడ్ టు రీడిఫైన్ అగైన్. ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ఏదో ఒకటి మీరు మాట్లాడుతుంటే మనకు చెప్తూనే అర్థమవుతుందా లేదా తెలుస్తుంది. నెట్లో నెట్వర్క్ ఉందా లేదా అనేది కూడా క్లారిటీ ఉండదు కదా. ప్లీజ్ ఇంటరాక్ట్. అండ్ వాట్ అవర్ రిమైనింగ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ గ్రాడ్యువల్గా తగ్గుతూ పోతున్నారు చూడండి. 64కి వచ్చినారు ఈరోజు. ప్రాబ్లం ఏమో కనుక్కోండి ఫస్ట్. సో సచ్ థింగ్స్ యూ కెన్ కాల్ యాజ్ ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్. సో కమింగ్ టు హియర్, inheritance is the main concept in object oriented programming, so which we need to reuse the existing things. No need to redefine again and again. Once you define a class, that class will have certain properties. If any other person needs the same information, no need to go for redefining again. They can make use of existing class, make use of existing functionality. Such a thing we can call it as inheritance. Say for example, I define a class with the name of student, having student ID, student name, student address, branch, payment, fee structure and all. Say for example, another person, they want to work on student marks. So no need to go for defining student details again, which is already defined by myself. So they can inherit my class to his own class and they can go for writing the things. Means they can enhance the application, enhance the project in such a way that no need to go for redefining again and again, which is already exists. They can reuse the code. That's the main advantage of inheritance. The code may be reused. The main functionality of this inheritance is the code may be reused for further stages. That's the main thing. So we can extending one class to another class. That's why you can use the keyword extends here. ఒక క్లాస్ నుంచి ఇంకో క్లాస్కి మనం వెళ్తున్నాం, ప్రాపర్టీస్ని పంపిస్తున్నాం అంటే we use the keyword extends. Extends is the keyword which is used to acquire parent class properties to the child class. So usually sometimes we may use parent as a super class and child as a subclass. ఇవి కొన్ని రిపీటెడ్గా వాడుతుంటాం. పేరెంట్ని సూపర్ క్లాస్ అంటాం, చైల్డ్ని సబ్ క్లాస్ అంటాం, రైట్? Another commonly used term for inheritance is specialization or generalization. So specialization is a super class and subclass is a generalization where you are generalizing the whole thing. So we'll work on this and we have one keyword that is extends. Extends always represents what is coming from parent to child, which is the parent and which is the child. The relation is going to be maintained by means of extends keyword. Just note on the syntax. Class, say for example, I am defining a new class, mention the class name and extending the property or extending this class to the super class. So what happened in this scenario? Use the keyword extends in lowercase, it is a keyword, and mention the existing class or existing super class. Now the subclass or a child class will become richer. Say for example, this is a super class. If you inherit the properties to the child class, అందులో ఉన్న ప్రాపర్టీస్ని ఇందులోకి తెచ్చుకున్నామంటే ఏమవుతుంది, నౌ చైల్డ్ క్లాస్ ఈజ్ బిగ్గర్ ఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ ఆల్ ద రిసోర్స్. సో అందులో ఉన్న ప్రాపర్టీస్ ఉంటాయి, నెక్స్ట్ పేరెంట్లో ఉన్న ప్రాపర్టీస్ ఉంటాయి, సూపర్ క్లాస్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ ఉంటాయి, చైల్డ్ క్లాస్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ ఉంటాయి. ఆల్ టుగెదర్ బికమ్స్ ద చైల్డ్. నౌ చైల్డ్ ఈజ్ వెరీ రిచ్. అంతే కదమ్మా. పేరెంట్ ఒక 10 acres ల్యాండ్ సంపాదించినాం అనుకోండి, పేరెంట్ చైల్డ్ ఇంకొక 5 acres ల్యాండ్ సంపాదిస్తే మొత్తం 15 acres ల్యాండ్ చైల్డ్దే అయిపోతుంది. వన్స్ ద పేరెంట్ చైల్డ్ రిలేషన్ ఈజ్ ప్రాపర్లీ ఎగ్జిస్ట్, నౌ చైల్డ్ విల్ హ్యావ్ హ్యూజ్ ప్రాపర్టీ having the parent as well as its own. Now the child is very rich, having all the properties of its own and its parent. Now clear what is an inheritance?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can anyone define what is an inheritance? Inheritance means what? Acquiring properties from parent class to child class. Okay namma, మీరు మళ్ళీ కన్ఫ్యూజ్ కావద్దండి. Please go through the inheritance again and how you are going to be define a class and extend the properties to the new existing class and all. With this support, we'll continue the next class, inheritance and all. Right? I'm having some work. I'm just leaving now, 5 minutes earlier. Take care and go through all those information. I'll send one more assignment now. Okay, Namma? Okay, Ma, I'm ending the session. If you have any issues, we'll discuss again later.